Let's face it, we all fail sometime in our life in some ways. There are people who fail and they make this failure as the choke point in their growth story. They stop growing from there, they stop taking on more opportunities from there. But there are some people who fail and they make this failure as a step in their success story. So, what's the difference between the two people? On the one hand, we have one person who failed, but he treated himself badly. He criticized himself. He treated himself negatively. He treated himself as a loser who failed. On the other hand, we have person who failed, but he understood that there was something wrong in the process that he was following, or in some circumstances which he could not make right, and he treat himself with self compassion, and because of that self compassion, instead of treating himself as a loser, he bring out some life lesson from that failure, and that life lesson becomes a step in the ladder of his success. So what is the difference between the two people? It is self compassion. So in this episode today we will understand what self compassion is, and how can we develop more self compassion for ourselves, so that when we fail we can learn from it, we can grow from there. Because in our growth journey, if we have that growth mindset, if we want to prosper, if we want to grow, we need to take on more and more opportunities, and chances are we will fail sometimes. And at that point in time, how we treat ourselves, that makes all the difference, right? So in this episode we will dive deep into self compassion, so stay tuned till the very end because there is a lot to learn in this episode. Hi, my name is Akshay Tiwari. I am the holistic happiness coach, author of the book called Usher, and the founder of Holistic Happiness Club. Holistic Happiness Club is the place where we talk about happiness holistically. We take into account every aspect that is related with our life and that is related with our happiness, be it our health, be it our mental health, be it our finances, be it our wealth, relationships, anything that has any connection with happiness has a place in Holistic Happiness Club. More about Holistic Happiness Club in the end of this episode. For now, let's dive into the topic. All right, so let's begin with the topic of the day. As always, let's begin from the beginning, which means understanding the topic first. So, what is self compassion? So, self compassion is how positively, how compassionately you treat yourself, especially in the time of failures. When we fail, we have this tendency of blaming ourselves, taking the responsibility. And this is what we are taught from the society and from parents also, that take the accountability, take the responsibility of your failure. And in taking the responsibility of that failure, we consider ourselves failure. We consider ourselves loser. And when we do that, we start treating ourselves badly and negatively. That becomes the blocker and the obstacle in our growth. Whereas, if when we fail, if we treat ourselves compassionately, still you need to take the responsibility of your failure, but you are not the central element in that responsibility. Let me explain this a little bit. So, when you fail, you say, okay, I have failed. You need to admit it. So, that is what taking the responsibility is. Next point is not saying that you are a loser. You have lost. That's true. You have lost a battle, but the war is still on. Okay. So you have lost. That is admitting, that is taking the responsibility. But when you say that you are a loser, you make yourself an identity about yourself of a loser. And when you make your identity that way, it's very difficult to come out of that identity. Whereas if you are not a loser, but you have lost, that means there were some factor which were not playing in your favor. That means you need to take some learning from that failure and understand that how can you make your plan even better next time, so that next time you do not lose. Because remember, you are not a loser, right? So in this situation, how you treat yourself, that is called self compassion. All right. Actually, self compassion can be in every situation, right? But especially at the time of failure, especially when there is a lot of expectation on you, especially when people are looking up to you that you will succeed. And at that time, if you are not able to perform well, that time the self compassion comes to our rescue. That time the self compassion pulls us from, you can say, a rabbit hole, and then take us towards the next better thing, right? So that's what, in a nutshell, self compassion is. Now, how it is different from self esteem? There is quite a bit difference between self esteem and self compassion. The thing is, self esteem you build, that is something when you succeed. When you succeed at something, when you are disciplined, when you are doing some good things, and when you are following the process rightly, when you are achieving your milestone, you will gain confidence, and you will build self esteem. You will consider yourself that you are the hero, or you are the doer, you are a success, you are getting success, right? So when we ride this wave of getting succeeded, and then there comes a point when we do not do so well, because we were riding this wave of success. When this downtime comes, we feel that we have created this downtime. We are responsible. I as a person is responsible, not as a doer. Okay, that's when problem starts. So what is self esteem? Self esteem is what you build when you are succeeding, when you are riding the wave. And when there are things which are not in your favor, that time you need to use self compassion. So these are two different things, it's not the same. If you have self compassion, then what you can do is you can treat yourself in a good way, in a better way, in a positive way, and you can start building from there. And again, your self esteem will be more or less intact. But if you do not have self compassion, in the time of success, your self esteem will become like an ego or proud. I mean, negative kind of proud. But at the time of failure, the self esteem will start killing you if you do not have self compassion, right? So this is what the difference between self compassion and self esteem is, and why it is needed. As I said, at the time of failure, this is the only thing that you can rely on, that can pull you out from the rabbit hole. Otherwise, you will start treating yourself as a failure, and when you are a failure, you will never be able to succeed, because remember, you have created an identity now as a failure. Whereas you can say you have failed, but you are not a failure. You have failed. It's okay that you have failed. Now let me take some learning from here and make it better plan next time so that I succeed. All right. So that is what self compassion is. And that's there is a difference between self esteem, why self compassion is needed along with self esteem. Okay. So these were the introduction. Now let's talk about some common obstacles that are there that does not allow us to build self compassion. So number one is self criticism. We are always, we are our biggest critique sometimes of ourselves. We can find problems in our plan better than anyone else. Now there can be some people who are overconfident, or some people who are narcissistic. They will think that whatever they are thinking, whatever they are planning is the foolproof thing. I'm not talking about those people, but there are people uh, who are always criticizing their own action, who are always overthinking whether they are doing this the right way, whether they are doing the right thing or not. If they are doing the right thing, whether they are doing the right way, will it fulfill the expectation of other people? All those things. So this self criticism, self negative talk is always going on in their mind. It also includes saying to yourself that you are not good enough for this particular goal. You are not good enough, or you are not deserving of this success. How are you even trying to achieve this? All those things, when it goes inside our head, that becomes a problem of treating yourself compassionately. If you see, if you are not thinking yourself as a deserving candidate of the success towards which you are working, obviously you will not feel compassionate toward yourself, because you are not feeling deserving. So all, I mean, this is not just one thing. There are so many things which comes under self criticism. That is, that becomes the obstacle in feeling more compassion towards yourself. All right. Point number 2 is perfectionism. I mean, we cannot emphasize this enough. When we have this mindset that everything needs to be perfect, then there are chances that, see, perfection is an illusion. And when you are trying that everything should be picture perfect, chances are, there are good chances are that something will be amiss. And when there is a miss, so let's say you were planning 100 things, 90 things were on the point, 10 things were here and there. You will focus on those 10 things which were not right instead of focusing on 90 things which were right. You got 90% but you are not focusing on that. You have lost, or maybe you did not manage so well on that rest 10%, but you will focus on that 10%. Now, uh, the logic or the argument which I get, if I'm not focusing on that 10%, how will I make it better? Yes, that is also a valid argument, but my point is, you need to take both the things in the account. You cannot discount that 90% which you have done right. You also need to feel that, okay, I have done, I have come a long way. There is a small portion which I need to correct. Okay, let me take some learning, how can I correct that one? Instead of this, most of us start thinking that because this was a miss, I am not made for this particular goal. Okay, let's say that we are targeting to run a marathon which is 42-kilometer long. If this time, in the first time, I came till 37 or 38 kilometer, and I finished with the DNF, which means did not finish, I consider myself as a failure because I was not able to run those 5 kilometers. Instead of thinking that just, oh, I'm not made for marathons, instead of that I can think of, this time I came till 37th kilometer. Now there are 5 more kilometers. Let me practice a little bit more. If I can complete 37, I can complete 5 more as well. Let me practice. Let me improvise on my plan. Let me revise the plan. Let me see how can I build more endurance. So look at the things in which you have not managed so well, but do not discount the things which you have done well in. All right. So that's the attitude of perfectionism. The mindset of a perfectionist does not allow you to feel compassionate towards yourself. Third thing, fear of self indulgence. It's a good one. It's a valid argument that if I will start treating myself, let's take the same example of marathon running, that if I treat myself, oh, I did a great thing that I have run 37 kilometer in my first marathon, and maybe I did not finish, that's fine, but I did manage to run 37 kilometer, let me have a party. Okay, so many people, so many of us fear that if I start treating myself compassionately, then I'll start enjoying and celebrating on the smaller wins, and in that celebration I will lose the sight of the bigger vision. That is okay argument, but my point here is, if you have the bigger vision, if you are already fixed at bigger vision, and if you have a right motive, a motive that motivates you, a reason, a strong why, that why you want to achieve what you want to achieve, then you will never lose the sight of that bigger vision. So if you have this fear of self indulgence, you need to look at the bigger picture always. While you are celebrating your small win, never lose the sight of the bigger picture, of the bigger goal. All right. Then societal expectations. Expectations are a big problem also, and sometimes a big motivator as well. But here we are talking about obstacles, so we will talk about the problem. So society expects us to behave in a certain way. Society expect us to do things in a certain way, and when we are not able to do, and when I'm saying society, it means uh, our family, our friends, our colleagues, everything. So when we are not able to behave according to their expectation, every one of them will start labeling us as a failure. And we when we take those expectations very personally, that I need to fulfill, I have to fulfill all those expectations, and I'm not able to fulfill all those expectations, then I will also consider myself as a failure. That's the problem. So what you need to do is, you need to ask yourself what you want to accomplish, Why you want to accomplish? Is it driven from societal expectations? If it is yes, then I don't think that you have a right goal for yourself. You need to revise it. Your goal, your aim should come from within. What you want, it should come from your values. It should be aligned with what you resonate with. If it is aligned with what you resonate, if it is aligned with your value, it does not matter what society expects from you. It does not matter what society says. It does not matter what people are criticizing you for, right? Because you are doing what is good for you. All right. Of course, it does not mean that we have to stretch it and we need to do anything that is good for us. Maybe we cannot go on killing some people and harming some others property. Of course not. But I'm saying that in the whatever I'm saying, it is in the purview of your values and your ethics, and your alignment of your goal with your values. All right. Next point is comparison. It's a big one. And the way we are built, and the way our societal paradigm is built currently, we are always comparing ourselves with someone else. It's inbuilt in us. See, when we are a child, we think we learn so many things by comparison. We learn that, okay, simple example, that when we touch a hot vessel, we get to know that it is hot because we subconsciously compare that it's hot compared to other things, right? So that's how we learn so many things. That's how we are grown up. So comparison is innate in us. But at the same time, when we do it too much, anything good in excess is always bad. Similarly, it is with comparison. When we compare ourselves with other, we tend to criticize ourselves. We tend to forget the self compassion, because we see that other person is succeeding, other person is doing that, other person is doing well, I'm not able to do. At the same time, there are so many people who are not doing well. At the same time, you need to understand that those who are doing well, it's their own journey. Their journey is different than yours. Maybe they have more resources, maybe they had started early, maybe they have good mentors or something, whatever it is. It's their own journey. That's the key point here. They are progressing in their own journey. Your competition is not with them, your competition is with you. You do not have to compare your success with somebody else's. It's like when we go out on the road, there are some vehicles which are always ahead of ours because they have started early or for whatever reason. All right. So never compare your success with somebody else's. Okay. Reason why we should not compare, because they have their own journey, we have our own journey, we have our own timeline. We will reach to our success, our goal, when it is time for us. All right. So these were some common obstacles that prevent us from feeling self compassionate. Now, what are some practical tips to develop self compassion? So these are mostly from positive psychology. I'll go through them one by one. Number one is self kindness. All right, so it looks very obvious. Yeah, okay, I have to develop self compassion, so I need to follow self kindness. So, but how? Treat yourself as a friend. I am sure you must have experienced this moment that when a friend has come to you saying that I did this, I messed up, I failed, you have consoled that friend saying that it's okay, it happens, you will do it better next time, all those things. Similarly, when you mess up, when you fail, treat yourself as a friend. Think like, if a friend will come to you explaining the exact same situation in which you are, what will you say to your friend? Obviously, you will say some nice, positive, and empowering word. Nice, I do not mean it should be flattery. I am saying empowering. Empowering in the sense that, okay, there is a failure, let me learn from it and let me make it better. All right. Okay. So that was point number one, self kindness, which means treat yourself as a friend. Second is mindfulness. You see, all the problems, not all, but most of the problems lies either in the future or in the past. We have failed, now we are
You can say we are overthinking about the failure, right? Or maybe we have failed, now we are worried how we will be treated by our family, by our friends, and by our colleagues. Will be treated, that is in the future, but at the moment most of these things are not there. Failure is the thing of past. How you will be treated, that's the thing of future, and moreover it's something that you do not have control over, right? What, how they will be treating you, you cannot control that. So do not think about all those things. Focus on the present moment, what you have in hand. You have a past failure, you need to learn from it. You have a future goal or objective or aim, you need to make plan, or you need to improvise your plan so that you can reach to that goal and you can manage to reach that goal faster. So mindfulness, meaning being in the present, is one of the key factor when it comes to self compassion. Number 3 is self dialogue. We always have this negative self talk. I'm not deserving, I'm not capable. See, I told myself that I'm a failure, I told myself that I cannot go for big things. So these negative self talk or self dialogue needs to be converted into positive self talk. There are ways. I have talked about these, that how can we take these negative self talk and how can we convert this negative self talk into the positive one. So self dialogue is something that we need to be careful about. Next point is common humanity. This is a different angle of looking at the same thing. We need to understand that, like everyone else, I'm also human. Like everyone else who has succeeded in the past or succeeding in the present, I am also a human. So if they can succeed, I can succeed. Like everyone else who has failed, I also have failed. Does not make me a failure. It makes me a human. So we need to see the similarity between us and other people. When we find that we are similar just as everyone else, we tend to look at ourselves a little bit differently, a little bit more compassionately. We think that okay, failure is a part of growth. We think that okay, success will come, but it has its own way, its own path, and that path has failure in it as well. Just like everyone else had their own fair share of failure. All right, next point is journaling. Journaling, in many ways, I have time and again said that a journey of personal growth without writing, I mean to say that writing is the most powerful tool when it comes in the journey of personal growth. So journaling your thought, whatever is coming in your mind, maybe journaling your positive affirmation, writing your goals, rewriting and reaffirming, visualizing your goal. All these are part of journaling. Whatever comes to mind, whatever you feel is right, whatever you want to give up proper shape to any thought, you can journal that thought, whatever it is. All right, it will help you immensely, because when you start writing, it will give you time to think about the thought, instead of just the thought came and it went. When you are writing, it will stay in your mind for a certain moment, and that will give you some time to ponder upon it. And when you get some time, when you observe that thought, the negativity of that thought fleets away. Okay, so journaling is an important tool when it comes to develop self compassion. Next is guided meditation. Meditation is a very important tool when it comes to personal growth, and especially guided meditation to develop common humanity, to develop a proper vision of your goal, to develop positive self talk. For that, there are different guided meditation which you can take help of, and develop the environment, the habits within which are needed to feel more compassionate about yourself. Seek support. This is a big one. So many of us fail to do that. So many of us think that if I will ask for support, I will be seen as weak. Instead, asking for support is the sign of courage. Whatever other people are thinking, it should not bother you, because they are not in your shoes. But if you are asking for help, it takes courage. I know that more than you, nobody else will know that how much courage it has taken, right? How much courage you had to gather to ask for help. So gather that courage, seek support from other people, talk to friends. Friends are the best people who can advise you and who can empower you and who can help you, and mentors also who can help you look at the positive side of the failure. All right, so when you look at the positive side of the failure, the learnings that you have got from the failure, when you churn those things and take the things that the cream that you need to grow further, you will start treating yourself more compassionately. Next is forgiveness. There are, when we fail, sometimes we blame ourselves, sometimes we blame people around us, that he has done that, otherwise I would have succeeded, and so many other things. But when we practice forgiveness, we release those energy, that negative energy that we are holding inside us, and that is blocking our growth. So it is important to forgive others. At the same time, it is very, very important to forgive yourself as well for committing the mistakes which you did. All right. Okay. So next is self care, which means with self care here, I mean caring for your health, developing a discipline, a routine that takes care of your health, picking up a sport, or maybe picking up a hobby, or picking up any activity that keeps you fit and healthy. When you are fit and healthy, when you are having a fit body, healthy body, you are more resilient, you are more ready to learn more, you are ready to embrace more challenges. And when you are ready to embrace more challenges, you tend to treat yourself with self compassion. Next, and the last, and but not the least, obviously, is positive affirmation. As I have talked earlier also about the self dialogue, these positive affirmation can replace the negative self talk, and it can build an environment within you that supports self compassion, the environment that supports growth. Right. So these are the some practical tips, whichever, I'm not saying that you need to incorporate all of them in your routine. Just pick one, whichever you like, incorporate that in any exercise, in any form of exercise, like 2 or 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Start from there, slowly and gradually but surely you will start picking on other things as well. They will automatically come. Pick anything which you like, start from there, other things will automatically come. All right. So this is the end of today's episode, today's topic. But before we end the today's episode, I would like to urge and request to all of you, if you have liked this content, if you found this useful, please like it. If you think that it can be useful for somebody else, please share it. Please consider subscribing so that you can get to know about the next topic which I am going to cover. All right, and before we end the episode, again, I would like to make an announcement that Holistic Happiness Club has a membership, bronze membership, which is free as of now. All right, so make the most use of this bronze membership while it is free, and yeah, join Holistic Happiness Club. There are a lot of benefits of joining as a member of Holistic Happiness Club. Till the time, now we are seeing each other again. Take care of yourself, take care of your loved one, take care of the people around you, and always remember, happiness is a lifestyle.